Captain Moen, do you think much about going to fly the Air Command Post, knowing that one day it might be used to control America's retaliation?
Well, at one time, I think that I thought quite seriously about it. However, I've flown the Airborne Command Post many times now, and I think less about it. It's become quite routine.
I'm standing in one of the strangest rooms in the world, the nerve center of the free world's deterrent nuclear striking force. The place where 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, teams of men control bombers carrying nuclear warheads on a round-the-clock sentry duty high in the atmosphere. This room, 45 feet below ground in a bunker which could be sealed off from the outside world in the event of a nuclear attack, is the command post of the Strategic Air Command in Omaha, Nebraska. It's from here that the bombers and missiles of some 70 SAC bases spread around the world are controlled. As you go to bed at night, as you get up in the morning, as you take the children to school, as you do the washing, as you do the cooking, as you go for a pint in the local at night, orders are going out from here to the SAC bombers on sentry duty around the world. And it's from here, too, that in the event of a nuclear attack coming, the commanding general, on orders from the president, could order the go code, which would mean that SAC bombers would penetrate deep into enemy territory and deliver their deadly loads. So, however badly America had been hit, she would have already launched her own retaliation. The controlling officer here can alert all 70 SAC bases at the single press of a button, but as a built-in safeguard against one man setting off a nuclear strike, he must have agreement from a second senior officer. The men sitting at these consoles are armed and have orders, if necessary, to shoot, to prevent someone setting off a nuclear strike without authority. Even for the demonstrations for our cameras of the rapid communications of SAC, 2 officers had to be present to agree to the button being pressed.
Sergeant Gilbo.
Scabbard, this is Dropkick with a maintenance test of all stations. There will not be an authentication for this maintenance test. All stations acknowledge at the count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is Dropkick releasing the primary alerting system. Hi, Wickham. SAC. Hello, SAC. This is Hi, Wickham, over. Roger. Would you give me a rundown on your current weather, please?
Right, here at High Wickham, about 25 to 30 miles west of London, we have sky conditions during 1400 broken, 2200 overcast. Visibilities are quite good, 12 miles to 15 miles. The winds are out of the west, about 13 knots, and our temperature at the present time is 40 degrees. Over.
Roger. Thank you very much, High Wickham. SAC out.
Roger, High Wickham out.
SAC is not on its highest alert at the moment, but if it were, the Commander-in-Chief of SAC, General John Ryan, would be sitting here at this desk. On this phone, the gold one, he would have instant contact with the Chiefs of Staff and President Johnson. And on this one, a red one, the hotline, he would have instant contact with his SAC forces. And from his position here, in the gallery overlooking the floor of the command post, he can see at a glance the dispersal of his forces throughout the world. The whole efficiency of SAC centers around speed of communication. The man in charge, Colonel Stoney.
This is the nerve center of our communications, the place where we keep our pulse on the communications, so that the battle staff, and I sit on the battle staff, can be constantly advised that our communications are in fact working. Most of our critical communications, we don't wait until we want to use them to be sure that they are working. They're constantly being pulsed electronically, as a matter of fact, every 3 seconds. And if a 3-second period should elapse and continuity were not established, we did not go to the end and receive a message back that the communications was in fact alive and working, one of these alarms would go off, and one of these gentlemen that are sitting in front of me here would get immediately on the telephone to the agency that provides that communications, find out what the difficulty is, try to figure out a way to work around it.
And all the time you think in terms of 15 minutes to go?
Yes, it must be done in 15 minutes. The reaction posture must fit the constant criteria that things have to be done right now. We cannot tolerate long outages. A few years ago, we used to think that a communication circuit that was out for 2 hours was a normal way of business in communications. Today, if I have a circuit that's out for 15 minutes, I'm in real trouble, real trouble.
The crews on ground standby alert at SAC bases around the world are constantly being practiced in getting their aircraft off the ground inside the warning period. But as the giant bombers go off, some at 15 seconds, some at 7-second intervals, their crews don't know whether this is just another rehearsal or the real thing. But it's no good just having planes in the sky. To be a proper deterrent, they have to be controllable even after all ground bases are knocked out. To guard against the possibility of a massive surprise nuclear attack which wiped out all the major ground command defense systems, SAC maintains an emergency command post and communications staff headed by a general in a jet 5 miles up in the sky. These aircraft, nicknamed Looking Glass, fly a random pattern from Omaha on a rotation basis, so that always, day and night, there's a nerve center in the sky. This aircraft could act as a relay to other SAC bombers already airborne in the event of a nuclear attack, or if the very worst happened and all the major ground command stations were wiped out, the general in charge of this plane could go to this red box, which contains the emergency war orders, on proper authentication, of course, and launch America's thermonuclear retaliation from this very seat. But to make sure that no one man could launch a nuclear strike without presidential approval, and of course this is an obvious safeguard, one of the many that SAC has to build into its entire system, no one man could go to this box and open it without approval. First of all, if he tried to, he would set off this emergency alarm system, this clicking noise, and all the crew of this plane are armed, so that within seconds of anybody trying to get at that box, he would have at least 5 pistols at his head. When you're dealing with the sort of power that this aircraft can control, you can't be too careful. SAC is an awesome nuclear weapon, but behind the machine are the men who fly the Sentry aircraft. Men like Captain Larry Moen, father of 3 little girls and pilot of the Airborne Command Post.
Hello. Hi, honey. How was your day?
Fine. How's yours? Good. Oh, nice. You hang my coat up, too?
Sure.
Thank you. Abby.
Captain Moen, do you find that you think much about going to fly the Air Command Post, knowing that one day it might be used to control America's retaliation?
Well, at one time, Mr. Woods. I think that I thought quite seriously about it. However, we fly quite a bit. I've flown the Airborne Command Post many times now, and I think less about it. It's become quite routine. And, sometimes in flight I will think about it. And naturally, we're involved in the operation and everything, but I can't say I do very often.
So you don't, for instance, go off to work in the morning thinking that this may be the last flight?
No, I can't really say that I do. My main concern is that I do the job that I'm supposed to do, and that's fly the aircraft. And I'm thinking about how what conditions I have to meet that certain day, weather, whatever it may be. But I'm just thinking about doing my job.
Mrs. Moen, when your husband goes off to fly the Air Command Post, do you find yourself worrying that he's in control of an aircraft that might deliver the retaliation?
Not really, no. Larry's flown ever since we've been married, and I'm used to it. It's just a job to me.
And for instance, when you're cooking breakfast in the morning for everybody, do you think that this might be the day when he goes out and flies the fatal flight?
No, I don't think of that at all.
You never pay any attention to it?
Well, I do think of these things sometimes, but they don't make me lose any sleep over it. I have faith in his ability to perform his duty, and I really don't worry at all.
Tomorrow, Captain Moen will be skimming over mountain peaks, practicing getting in under enemy radar screens. The men, the aircraft, the missiles of SAC, all tools of the diplomacy of the nuclear age we live in.